Hello and welcome to another Project Diablo 2 video. I am Koradesh and today we're going to be going over my Season 12 Suffering Assassin Blade Sentinel Venom guide. Let's get into it. Alright, first up let's go over the skills. And look, I did not come up with this build. Basically, if you watch Wheat Solo, he covered a lot of the mechanics around this. If you go to the Assassin Discord on the Project Diablo 2 server, Fixion or Fikes 10N or something. I don't know how you pronounce it. He is like the Blade Sentinel guru. There's a lot of really great information. But basically, the idea of this build is Blade Sentinel is it counts as a summon, which means when you apply Venom, which adds this crazy amount of poison damage to the Blade Sentinel, it can apply its own Venom. So every time you summon a new Blade Sentinel, it gets its own application of Venom, which kind of allows you to just like stack this up over and over and over, where generally this only works over 1 second, but each one of these applies their own and it stacks. Now on top of this, we have Shadow Warriors, which also can apply their own Venoms or summon their own Blade Sentinels, which again will apply the same Venoms over and over and over. Other things that make Assassin incredible. So first off, you don't need to carry keys around because you get to open lock chests for free. On top of that, you basically get a free innocence because you could just put 1 point into Blade Shield, and that allows you to proc Venom when you teleport in. You also get free movement speed and attack speed, so you don't really need Fanaticism either. So like there's just, you basically don't need an innocence, you don't need Faith or Beast, just really, really good stuff. So anyways, so as far as points goes, I don't know if this is exactly correct, but I did Claw and Dagger Mastery, Venom, max those out. You get enough in Burst of Speed to get the breakpoint that you care about while you're wearing the Natalia set for IAS and yeah, just the IAS. So once you have that, then you can put points into Shadow Warrior. You make sure you max out Blade Sentinel. You don't really need the synergies because you don't care that much about the physical damage. Point into Blade Shield, and then you max Cobra Strike because that's synergy. You also put points into Dragonflight to get the cooldown as low as possible. So that's pretty much it for the stats, and I'll have a link to the character so you can just look at it from there. Or again, I'll also link to the Discord message, which has like kind of like what the Blade Sentinel guy Fixion wrote about it. So that's kind of the skills. Next up, I'm just going to go over the gear, and really the Natalia set is incredible. Let's first talk about on swap. So there's a couple ways to do this. Generally, you don't really need a CTA. It's kind of a pain in the ass because it's not going to last the whole map. What you could do is you could equip it, cast it to get your plus to skills. You can just right click to equip these things. Right now I run a Geed, so if I do all this, you can look at my Venom, and it, right now it's level 46. But as soon as I equip these two, it goes all the way to 55, which is a ton of poison damage. So again, we buffed up with CTA. Now we cast our Venom with our weapon swap, which are +1 Stalker Skull, so +5 to Venom. You can actually get +6 shopping it from like Anya, but the amount of time that it would take would be like astronomical, I think. So not really worried about that. So that's the weapon swap. For our main setup, I'm just gonna go ahead and put all this back. For our main setup, we have Natalia set. This is a +1 with 2 open sockets, obviously very good. This is a +1 with 3 open sockets, very good. And you want to get 5/5 poison facets for all of these. Whispering Mirage is really good for the additional shadow. As far as the other stats on it, if you want to get ED or plus the Shadow Warrior, that's really good. But the thing that you care the most about is the 3 open sockets. So that really matters. Again, 3 open sockets on this. As far as gloves, Venom grips are really good. The poison skill damage is really good. I wanted to mention, so the poison skill damage functions when you're attacking. So like as you're applying Venom. So if I take these off and I cast, if I weapon swap and I cast Venom, it's going to be the same exact damage. See, the damage goes up as I put these on. So it doesn't actually affect the snapshotting of the Venom. It only affects when you're dealing the Venom damage. So I did want to mention, but yeah, so that's how the Poison Mastery works. It works exactly the same for Fire Mastery for Enchant. So I did want to mention that. As far as rings, we had double BK ring, and the lifesteal is pretty important here, as well as the life and the skills. String of Ears, I have attack rating just because I'm trying to get to about 10k attack rating and make sure I'm always hitting. And then PDR is good on this, and lifesteal is good on this. So why do we care about lifesteal? Because if you go and look at, Blade Sentinel, we cast this out. This is not lifestealing. But we are also using Blade Shield, and we're also using Dragonflight. So those allow us to sustain as we're going. So the lifesteal is actually pretty important. But I also have a Mars with CBF, and really this build is starved for resistances, so I feel like Mars is kind of mandatory. As far as CBF, you can get it, you know, on your Nats or your body armor. There's other places that you can get it, but yeah, that's basically what I did. And then Natalia's Soul, I don't know what corruption you really want here. I just have 40 life on mine. I don't think it matters that much. Yeah, so that's the gear. Skillers, it's all Shadow Disciplines for the Venom, and then after that, it really doesn't matter. You just need it for your Venoms. That's why I swapped one out for Geeds, just for funsies. We have an Assassin Torch, poison skill damage with life, and then we have a +1 Annie, and then this is just to fix resistances or magic find. And that's pretty much it for the character gear. For my mercenary is probably a little bit different than a lot of builds that run this. A lot of people go for the Doom setup with Act 3 and the Defiance aura and all that stuff. So you have like prayer regen and slows to cold and all that stuff. But I actually really like this. So right now I'm running a Mist, and the reason why is I kind of just had this, and then I built the Doom, and I started building the other Act 3 Merc. And honestly, this Merc just feels better to me. So the Mist gives concentration aura, which ups my Fizz damage. Again, I don't really need fanaticism. I just want the damage. And she hits pretty hard. I mean, it's 753 to 3700. It's pretty good. Andy's for the +1. That also increases the Vigor aura. This has IES, Lifesteal, all those things. Lava Gat for Enchant. When Enchant procs, it gives me a bunch of attack rating. I care about attack rating. It allows me to hit. Might is really good just because it buffs up all the damage that we're dealing, the Fizz damage. So whenever there's a poison immune, we still crush it almost immediately. Now, this is what I absolutely love. So Aether Wings, these are incredible, but I telestomp with Dragonflight, and these will proc that level 40 static field very often. So this is actually really good for that. And the fact that she has native Lightning Pierce with the native 21% is really fun, really cool. So these are kind of incredible. And it kind of allows you to like run like a Act 1 Merc that still does the static field similar to the Act 3 Lightning. And then I just run War Traps for nice magic find, some flat damage, some run walk, yada yada yada. But as you can see, resistor capped, really good damage. And yeah, she's really powerful. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and talk about like how to like set up and prepare the Scraper. So like I said, you know, I run CTA and I do a Charm Swap, but you don't need to do any of this. So in fact, I'm not gonna do that right now. We're gonna pretend like I don't have that. So we're gonna switch to our Venom and we're gonna buff. So that's using Burst of Speed, Blade Shield, and Venom. And as you can see, I do a ton of Blade. That's without doing the Snapshot. Like I don't have CTA active. And I'm missing, what, like +2 to skills because of this? Or +3 to skills? So then after that, you switch back to your full Natalias, and you can tell that you have Natalias when you are like ethereal looking. And so you're gonna summon up to your 3 shadows. Now, what I do is I have movement on left click, and then I use Blade Sentinel on right click. And the way that these Shadow Warriors work is they will cast what you have active. So if I scroll up to Blade Shield, they will now apply Blade Shield. If I scroll up to Venom, they will apply Venom. If they scroll to Burst of Speed, they will Burst of Speed. So that's why they don't really need Fanaticism. I think I'm hitting all the breakpoints with my Shadow Warrior levels plus the Burst of Speed. I could be wrong about that. They have their own frames. Sweet Soul has a video about all that stuff, but I think that's right. And yeah, so as far as this goes, if I go anywhere, basically myself using this Blade Shield, that can apply Venom. Each one of these can also apply Venom. So if I teleport into something, that's immediately like 5 stacks of Venom just active almost immediately. Now, as they all cast their Blade Sentinels, they're also applying Venom. So it's really powerful. As you can see, my life is kind of going down. As soon as I teleport in, my life goes up. So you really kind of leech as you go. And it's quite sustainable. So I have 29% life leech, and that seems to be enough. Sometimes I do have to chug a rejuve, but generally it's not as often as how I acquire them. And that's pretty much it. So I have a previous video that shows like a 5.5 minute map clear. I'm not going to include a map video with this. I could if you wanted, but I ran through all of my... I ran through 50 Thrones of Insanity recently. I have like a couple left, but I don't have time to run it right now. So if you want to look at a map showcase, that's kind of how it works. But yeah, and I really like the Act 1 Mercenary with the Vigor Aura because sometimes like you just have to run around, you know? So like if you're running around, like it's just nice to have the Vigor Aura. Now you can teleport around a lot as long as there's monsters to teleport to, but sometimes you just can't always be teleporting. And because of that, I like to be able to run around. Like if there's an item to pick up, you will have to run to that item. And I feel like it just kind of increases your clear speed quite a bit to have the bigger aura. And so yeah, that's it for the build guide. I'll see you next time.